Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya. Today we are very glad to have the recorded class of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter number 24, Shloka number 17. I will be sharing the audio now. Just give me a minute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just give me a minute, Prabhuji. I'm trying to open.
Okay, Prabhuji. The audio is not audible. That's why just don't.
Om Jnanatimarandasya Jananjana Salaka.
Devotees, are you able to hear? Prabhuji, you are able to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji. You can keep the verse as the main.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Chaksuramilitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya-manubhistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapandantikam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text number 70. Tam Evatmanam Atmastam Sarvabhuteshu Avastitam Pujayadvam Granantash Grinantash Cha Dhyayantas Chasakrit Dadim Tam Evatmanam Atmastam Sarvabhuteshvavastitam Pujay Advam Grinantascha Dhyayantascha Sakritadim. Unto him. Eva Certainly. Atmanam, the Supreme Soul. Atmastam, within your hearts. Sarva, all. Bhuteshu, in every living being. Avastitam, situated. Pujayadvam, just worship him. Grinantahacha, always chanting. Dhyayantahacha, always meditating upon him. Asakrit, continuously. Harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, O sons of the King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is situated in everyone's heart. He is also within your hearts. Therefore, chant the glories of the Lord and always meditate upon him continuously. Purport. The word asakrit is significant, for it means not just for a few minutes, but continuously. That is the instruction given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastakam, Kirtaniya Sada Hari. The holy name of the Lord should be chanted 24 hours daily. Therefore, in this Krishna consciousness movement, we request the devotees to chant at least 16 rounds on their beads daily. Actually, one has to chant 24 hours daily, just like Thakur Haridas, who was chanting the Hare Krishna mantra 300,000 times daily. Indeed, he had no other business. Some of the Goswamis, like Raghunath Das Goswami, were also chanting very rigidly and also offering obeisances very rigidly, as stated in Srinivasacharya's prayer to the 6 Goswamis, Sat Goswami Astaka, Sankapura Vakana Magana Natibi, Kalavashani Krito. The word Sankapuravaka means maintaining a numerical strength. Not only was Raghunath Das Goswami chanting the holy names of the Lord, but he was also offering obeisances in the same prolific numbers. Because the princes were ready to enter into some severe austerity in order to worship the Lord, Lord Shiva advised them to constantly chant of and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is significant that Lord Shiva personally offered his prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as he was taught by his father, Lord Brahma. Similarly, he was also preaching to the princes according to the Parampara system. One not only should practice the instructions received from the spiritual master, but should also distribute this knowledge to one's disciples. The words Atmanam Atmastam Sarvabhuteshu Avastitam are also significant. The personality of Godhead is the origin of all living entities, because the living entities are parts and parcels of the Lord. He is the Father of all of them. One can search out the Supreme Lord very easily within one's heart, for he is situated in every living entity's heart. In this verse, the process of worshipping the Lord is considered to be very easy and complete, for anyone can sit down anywhere and in any condition of life simply chant the holy names of the Lord. By chanting and hearing, one automatically engages in meditation. Vanchakalpatuduvascha kripasindubhi vachapatitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So in our Krishna consciousness movement, we are following the process of worshipping God, coming down in Parampara system from the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They are our gurus. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed the world how to practice Krishna consciousness through the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And what they did has become the standard for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Here, Srila Prabhupada has remembered Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, has also remembered Raghunath Das Goswami in every chapter of Chaitanya Chaitamrita, where he has prayed to Rupa and Raghunath. Raghunath Das Goswami pleased Lord Chaitanya by the practice of his austerities. His austerities were not the type of dry renunciation of an impersonalist, but they were full of rasa, because his austerities were meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavatam we know, Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yaschinratam rasa gyanam sadhu sadhu pade pade. It is said there that we never tire of hearing the glorious transcendental prayers offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because those prayers are most palatable, they are most relishable. Rasa Gyanam Sadhu Sadhu Pade Pade. Rasa Gyanam means that those who are conversant with the understanding of rasa, they know how to relish the chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord. For them, chanting Hare Krishna is not tapasya. It is not a austerity difficulty undergone for spiritual advancement. Rather, it is a great relishment. They are attracted by Krishna. Otherwise, it is not possible to chant as Haridas Thakur did 300,000 times daily, as Raghunath Das Goswami times daily. Neither is it possible, as Raghunath Das Goswami did, to offer 2,000 times his obeisances daily upon seeing each and every Vaishnava. In Braj, he offered obeisances. For the Goswamis, they appeared to be performing the austerities of one who is a sadhaka. But in fact, they were executing all of these activities on a transcendental platform of spontaneous attraction to Krishna. Because our love for Krishna is not properly evoked. Love of Krishna is within the heart of every living entity. Therefore, Lord Shiva is advising that one worship the Lord within the heart, and Prabhupada repeats that. It is not difficult to find out the Lord within the heart. It is not difficult because there is love for the Lord in every heart. But that loving devotion has to be invoked, and the process which does so is called sadhana bhakti. So the Goswamis taught by their example, and Raghunath Das Goswami was able to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his renunciation, because it was not dry renunciation. In one prayer, in Vilap Kusumanjali, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has offered a prayer praising Sanatana Goswami. And he says in this prayer that Sanatana Goswami has made me drink the bitter taste of renunciation and made me learn to like it. So, at first, we feel that austerities like getting up in the morning early, taking bath, chanting our rounds in a fixed number, controlling our mind, studying Shastra, we feel to some extent that these things are difficult, they're austere, there's some hardship involved. Going on Sankirtan, going to make members, so many different programs for preaching, these things appear to have some unpleasantness attached to them. But actually, it is not the activity which is unpleasant, but it is due to our conditioned nature that we experience these things as being unpleasant. Rupa Goswami has therefore stated in the Nectar of Instruction that the holy name of the Lord is very sweet, but at the present moment we taste it as if it is bitter. And this is because we are suffering from a jaundice-like disease of avidya, or ignorance. Just as a suffering person under the influence of jaundice tastes everything as bitter, even those things which are sweet. So in the present condition, when we are covered by ignorance, when we do not know who we are, we do not know why we are here, we do not know really what we should be doing, to be told to chant and do all other devotional practices sometimes is unpleasant. But actually it is not so. It is the sweetest of all activities. One time, a devotee wrote to Srila Prabhupada and said that I have been doing Sankirtan for so long that I feel burned out now. And Prabhupada had us reply, Sankirtan never burns anybody out. Because the very nature of Sankirtan is that it gives life. In Shikshastakam, the first verse, it says it is the life of the devotees. So it cannot, that thing which gives life cannot cause death. But death or burnout is caused by coming in contact with the material energy, Maya. She causes us to feel the suffering, the pangs of suffering of various types. Never does Krishna do so. Never does devotional service to Krishna do so. So if we are feeling difficulty when we do any activity, it is not devotional service or Sankirtan or associating with the devotees or any of these things which is causing the problem. It is our close association due to immemorial conditioning with the modes of nature that has caused the problem. So the point here is that in order to get free from the influence of the material energy, we have to discipline ourselves. A disciple is one who acts under discipline. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said that if someone is not following my instructions, he is not actually my disciple. Because how can someone call himself a disciple if he's not under disciplinary vow? So the discipline is, to begin with, 16 rounds a day. However, the 16 rounds are not meant to be a chore or to be done mechanically. Unless we understand properly that the holy name is not different than the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, that Krishna is personally present and is giving us His association through the holy name, then our attitude of chanting will be incorrect. It is stated here, Prabhupada quotes, Kirtaniya Sadahari, and also Satatam Kirtayantamam, Yatantas Chadridavrataha, Namasyantas Chamam Bhaktya, Nitya Yukta Upashate. One has to chant Satatam Kirtayantamam, constantly. Prabhupada says 24 hours a day. That means that all of our activities must be on the level of kirtan. Kirtan is done by many things. It is not only the kirtan in the temple room or the japa. When we go out and distribute books, this is kirtan. When we go out and tell people about Krishna consciousness in different forms and ways, that is kirtan. Srila Prabhupada, being the most expert of preachers, such a prominent member of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party, he has shown us how to perform kirtan on a very, very broad scale. Very broad scale. Following in the footsteps of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who coined the phrase Brihat Mridanga. the big drum, the printing press. Book distribution, Prabhupada said, for wider Sankirtan, book distribution is best. So we are pushing book distribution because it is Kirtaniya Sadahari. The book, when it is distributed, it goes on vibrating. And the devotee who distributes the book gets the credit. As that book is distributed, passed to someone, and again passes to another hands, it is like the devotee is continuously beating on the mridanga. And he gets credit for this. In the eye of the Lord, in the books, of spiritual books of the Lord, where credit is noted, he's getting credit for this. Srila Prabhupada knew that this was the best way to advance people in this age, to get them to engage in Sankirtan. Because so far as sadhana is concerned, everybody is finding trouble to follow the footsteps of the Goswamis. It is not so easy to chant 16 rounds. What to speak of 300,000 times to chant the holy name. Sometime, if you have an opportunity and you like, you can make an experiment and see what it's like to chant 300,000 times. I did it. And it is quite an interesting experiment. You will get so many realizations about how much taste you have or don't have when you try this. So, even if you can, and in any case, so the point is that to follow the 6 Goswamis in chanting continuously, Prabhupada asked his disciples, you chant simply 1 lakh of holy names, 100,000 times, and they could not do it. And then he went down to 32 rounds, and finally he settled at 16 rounds as minimum. So what does it mean? Does it mean that 16 rounds and my business is complete? Certainly not, because Prabhupada says here we have to chant 24 hours a day. That means that if we're not chanting on beats, then whatever we are doing has to be of the same quality. The kirtan we perform has to be of equal worth in order for us to get the same benefit which the 6 Goswamis were deriving by constant chanting. And we have to be in their mood. Shanka purvaka nama gana natibi kalava sankirtano nidrahara viharakadi vichito chatyanta dino chayo radha krishna guna smitir madhuri mandena samauhito bande rupa sanatano raguyago sijiva gopalako. How the Goswamis were always in a mood of constant humility. Chanting cannot be done unless one is in constant humble frame of mind. And therefore we see that they executed devotional service so rigidly. How? Not only by the process of the way they chanted, but also by the means of controlling their eating, controlling their sleeping, because all of these things are connected. They were constantly practicing the different angas, the different parts of bhakti, of sadhana bhakti, both to establish the principle for future generations, and within the activities they derive so much satisfaction. So, to take a vow, at time of initiation, we take a vow, and that vow, Prabhupada says, gives one the added strength. It makes the chanting so much more effective or powerful. Because the holy name chanted under rigid vow increases in its power. But the promise that we give to the Guru, if it is violated, then it creates so much havoc and disturbance in a devotee's life. And therefore we should understand properly what is the meaning of initiation. It is a very solemn affair. Solemn in the sense that it is practically a decision to give up one's independence. Actually, we are not independent at all. We are all under the grip of Maya, material energy, you have two choices. It is not a question of dependence or independence. It is only a question of who we are to depend upon. Either we are going to depend upon Maya or we're going to depend upon Krishna. We depend upon Devi Prakriti or we're going to depend upon the material energy. The divine energy or the material energy. But dependence is there. So, initiation means that I vow, henceforward I shall never again fall victim to Maya. How? I will stay clearly and firmly under the guidance of the instructions I receive from Krishna's representative, my spiritual master. Therefore, unless one has such unflinching faith in the words of the spiritual master, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained what is the nature of this faith. In the text commentary to Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, text 41, where it is described how one should be very one-pointed in one's intelligence and determination. He says, allegiance to the words of my spiritual master is the guiding principle of my life. He says that service to my spiritual master is the only interest of my life, and it will remain so now and even after death. He says that the world may come and the world may go, but the words of my spiritual master and my attachment to his service will go on unendingly beyond the coming and going of the material universe. This is what he understands as devotion to Guru and Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada read this commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explained that he became deeply inspired to carry out the mission of his Guru Maharaj and go to the West. So, unless one has such intention of following the spiritual master's guidance, birth after birth, then actually that initiation is not proper. Prabhupada once said that after someone took initiation and they left the association of the devotees, Prabhupada said actually he never had Guru. He never had a Guru. He didn't understand what is Guru. So, the spiritual master, Prabhupada says here in this purport, is meant to hear from his spiritual master. One should not only practice the instructions received from the spiritual master, but should also distribute this knowledge to one's disciples. So this is Parampara's system, to pass it on very nicely. And our Krishna consciousness movement is very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada had so many nice disciples who he trained very fully and completely, and now they're passing on this knowledge in succession, and it will go on in this way. It will go on so long as someone is very, very faithful to the words of Guru and Krishna. As it is stated, Yasya Devi Padabhaktir Tata Devi Tata Guru Tasyaiti Katita Yartha Prakashanti Maha. For those who keep equal faith in Guru and Krishna, then all of the imports of Vedic literature are revealed. So it is like a train running on two tracks, parallel tracks. Krishna and Guru are guiding us from within the heart. Krishna is Chaitya Guru. Sarvasya chaham vidhi shani vishto maptashmitir gyanam apavanam cha. He is within the heart, and he is giving intelligence. He is giving maptashmitir gyanam apavanam cha. He's giving us jnana, divya jnana, transcendental knowledge. And how do we know what he is telling us? Because outside he appears again before us in the form of the initiating and spiritual master and the instructing spiritual masters. So there's so much way to know what Krishna's desire is. A devotee never has to speculate. There's no need of speculation. There's ample guidance. And sometimes we rebel against so much guidance. But actually we always get guidance. Again, it is not a question of getting guidance or being told what to do or not being told what to do. Because if you don't listen to superior authority, then you listen to your mind. You listen to your emotions. You listen to your senses. Now you have to consider who's a better guru. Guru and sadhu and shastra, or one's conditioned senses and mind. Obviously the answer is clear. But because we are so much conditioned to listening to our mind and listening to our senses, we are so much in the bodily conception of life that we sometimes find it difficult and we recoil or we rebel against those who are our well-wishers. So, actually, Krishna will give all help to a sincere devotee. Here, Lord Shiva is saying how that help comes by chanting the glories of the Lord and meditating on Him continuously. This chanting and hearing process, Shravanam Kirtanam, it will come to Smaranam, remembrance. Everything is leading to remembrance. As we were saying yesterday in the class, there are two primary rules. Always to remember Krishna and never to forget Krishna. So remembrance of Krishna comes automatically when the hearing and chanting is done purely. We have to remember Krishna. We have to remember Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, that verse says that Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloki vikrame. Vikrame means the adventures of the Lord. Krishna's pastimes are unlimited. One time we walked into a room with Srila Prabhupada, and he was traveling at the time with small Radha Krishna deities. And he looked at his altar, small altar, and he said, just see, Radha and Krishna are dancing tonight. So, we do not have such vision to see because our chanting and hearing is defective. When your chanting and hearing becomes pure, then the pastimes of Krishna will manifest within your heart. The Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, yesterday we were singing that prayer, Gopinath. So he's praying to Gopinath to please reveal your pastimes within my heart. The Lord always performs pastimes in His holy Dham. But where is that Dham? That Dham is wherever His devotees are. Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va tata tishtami narada yatra gayanti mad bhakta. Krishna says that I'm not in Vaikuntha. Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va. Neither I'm in the hearts of the yogis. Then where am I? Well, he's saying to Narada Muni, where am I? I am in the heart of my devotees. Yatra gayanti mad bhakta. To those who always chant my glories, I am in their heart. So, the heart of a devotee is Dham. It is a Dham. It is a transcendental abode of the Lord. And the Lord performs His pastimes within the heart of such a pure devotee. So that a devotee is constantly seeing such pastimes going on, one after another, after another, after another. This is a liberated platform. This is the platform that we are trying to strive for. But it requires so much discipline, so much rigid following, to come to that stage where the pastimes of the Lord spontaneously manifest themselves in the devotee's heart. That's not going to be so easy to achieve. It will require effort on our part, constant effort, as it says here today, continuously meditating. It won't happen just so quickly. And it will happen by the grace of the Lord, by the special mercy of the Lord and His devotees upon us. So we will stop here and ask if anyone has any questions or comments.
I was talking to somebody recently who's more than a member of our movement, and they claim that since they stopped chanting Hare Krishna,
Brigapati Prabhu says that he was talking to one former member of our movement who said that ever since he stopped chanting Hare Krishna, he was feeling less sex agitation. Maybe because of this, he had become less conscious of everything, and being in a constant state of, or in a constant dulled condition, he was not feeling sex agitation nor anything else. In other words, when one wakes up, so many things happen. When you're sleeping, it is a more or less neutral condition, except if you have a nightmare. You know, people get peaceful at night when they sleep because there's nothing good or bad. And when you wake up, so many things happen. You have to go to work, you have to look at your wife or husband, you know, so many things happen, right, which, you know, creates all kinds of pleasant and unpleasant experiences. And while you're sleeping, you don't have to go through all this. So sometimes a person thinks that it is better to not be in Krishna consciousness because it's like sleeping. At least I'm not so conscious, I'm not so aware of all of things. So if one prefers that condition, fair enough. Of course, we advise that, yes, when you come to Krishna consciousness, there may be more sex agitation, there may be more so many things, until you come to the successful stage of becoming advanced. Then it won't be so problematic for you.
So that person is degraded from the most passion to the motivators.
It appears to be so. Yes?
When you say that God is in the heart, does that mean that he's actually physically inside the heart?
Yes, he's there, including his flute, his crown, his peacock feather, earrings. Not only is he there, but all of his associates are there, and his abode is there. It's a huge affair. You can just imagine how this is. That it is said that this Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, is bigger than the rest of the whole spiritual world. And the whole spiritual world is 3/4 compared to 1/4 of the material world. And all of that is inside your heart. Is he communicable? Yes, just like a disease. Prabhupada gives the example, like a communicative disease. In other words, if you associate with Krishna through his holy name, then you will get the effect of a disease. It is a disease that you will lose any taste for material pleasure. Just like if you associate with someone who has got a material disease, you will catch it, right? It may be contagious and you will catch it. In the same way, when you associate with Krishna or his devotees, you will catch the disease that they have. You will become mad. Do you want to become a madman? You mean to say you're seriously considering the possibility that you would want to become a madman?
Well, I know that the word madness can be used by women to kill other women.
In other words, it could be good madness.
This arises from the lack of one's ability to control one's body.
Anyway, stay sane and sober by chanting Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna is there in the heart, but his physical condition is not a material one. So the direct answer now that I will give, after having said all that I did, to directly answer your question, he is physically in the heart, but it is not material physical condition. In other words, we confuse physical to mean only material. He's there, but he's there spiritually. He exists on the spiritual platform. Another question? Yes?
Does it mean the whole world is within? The God is within?
Yes.
The whole world is within?
Yes, but unfortunately we don't see that. We don't see that. The heart is the seat of the Lord, and the Lord is situated in his Dham. Mataji's, have any questions? All right, no questions, then we shall stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Lord Premanandi.
Thank you, Maharaj, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Maharaj, for a wonderful class. What I understand was the summary and essence of this session was how to improve our chanting, and if we are not able to chant 24 hours, how we can engage ourselves in the Sankirtana, like the activities like book distribution. That was the key summary of the today's session. Devotees, if you have any reflections or comments to share, you are welcome to share. I have just unmuted the lines of all devotees. This class was given by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in 1992, August 31st in Sydney. Any comments from devotees, clarification, reflections? Otherwise, we can end the session with Vaishnava Pranam. Okay, so we will end the sessions with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhobhyayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll end the Zoom session now. Thank you, devotees. We will meet again tomorrow.